Do you want to learn to make money in your sleep? Hi, I'm Dan Can, and this is the show where we learn how to provide, protect, and promote. We learn to invest in real estate and in others. After this episode, you'll be able to make money in your sleep. You'll be making money well, and you'll be sleeping well. Hi, I'm Dan Can. Welcome back. We all are called to provide, and I enjoy that role. Provide, protect, and promote. I believe that real estate is a fantastic investment vehicle to do that. I want to share a quick story on how I was introduced to this concept in regards to making money in your sleep. I was about 24 years old, and I had a fantastic business mentor of mine. And I had been initiating with him, and we had some short conversations. And I would say that is still to this day a very successful businessman. He was the CEO of a very large financial firm that had offices in Tacoma, Washington, Tokyo, Australia, and London. And I had initiated with him, and I said, "Hey, I'd love to take you out to lunch." He said, "Great. Now this guy's a multimillionaire." And I told him, "Hey, wherever you want to go, I'll go." He goes, "Why don't you meet me at my house?" I said, "Sure." And he had this beautiful place on the water. And I told him I'd pick him up anything. I'd pick him up sushi. I'd pick him whatever. And I'll never forget this. He said, "There's this one bar in Gig Harbor called Tide's Tavern. They have the best fish and chips." And I thought, that's so funny. This gentleman wants me to get him some fish and chips. So I got him some fish and chips from the tavern, drove down to his house, and gave him my story. Son of immigrants, used to be a teacher, just got into sales. I want to be successful. How do I do that? And I'll never forget this. I told him I was selling direct mail for auto retailers at the time. And so he thinks for a minute, and he looks at me and he says, "So you're a peddler?" And I was like, "What? That's offensive. I got a college degree, man. What do you mean I'm a peddler?" And he said, "No, in my family, that's a compliment because that means that you can sell. And if you can sell, you can do just about anything." And so as I try to get over my offense of being called a peddler, he said, "Hey, Dan, listen, I'm all about making money in my sleep." And I looked at him and I said, "Starting today, so am I." And so this episode is about how to make money in your sleep. I want you to please have a journal, a tablet, a paper, a pen. I'm going to give you some strategic things to write down. This is actually going to be a 3-part series, which I'm really excited for. And the first thing I want to cover in this section is how you can build trust. So write that down. In order to make money in your sleep, you have to build and maintain trust. How do you maintain trust? Well, there's only one way, and I know this might offend some people, but I believe this fully with my heart and all my soul. You build trust by earning it. You have to earn trust. It's not freely given. And in the financial world, in real estate, trust is a huge deal. And I build a lot of my business plans, values, principles off of the Word of God. And I have my glasses on, as you can tell, and I'm going to read this verse because it really helped me start my journey down this road, making money in my sleep. So it's found in Proverbs 22:1, and it says this: "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. The irony of that is this is about building wealth, but he's talking about having a great name. The irony of this is if you have a great name and if you're trustworthy, more than likely you are going to be able to acquire silver and gold. After this short break, we're going to talk about 3 key principles on how to build trust in a relationship after a word from our glorious sponsors.
One accident can change everything. Are you covered? At DanCan Insurance Agency in Spokane, we protect what matters most: your family, your car, your peace of mind. Get a free quote in under 60 seconds. DanCan, because you can count on us. DanCan Insurance Agency specializes in auto, home, motorcycles, and life insurance. Call us today at 509-328-1422.
Hi, welcome back. We're going to talk about how to make money in your sleep, and we're going to go over some principles in regards to how to do that. The first thing you want to do is build trust. And I covered that. To build trust, you have to do what you say you're going to do, and you're going to do what you say you're going to do, and you're going to do that often. That's basically how you build trust. I don't want to make it as simple as a fourth grade math class here, but that's basically it. If you do this, then that. And one of the things that I have found just to be imperative in my life is when I tell somebody I'm going to be there at 9 a.m., I show up at 8:50. It drives my family nuts, but that's how I am. I was raised that way. And what's important about that is that it really shows value to the person that you're meeting with. Now, have I been 10 minutes early to every appointment in my life? Absolutely not. But if I am going to be late, man, you better believe that I'm sending them a message or I'm calling them to let them know. And I know 20, 30 minutes beforehand that I'm going to be late. What does this have to do about building wealth? What's this? You have to be ethical. And what I mean by that is if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you're going to want to do it. And you should have joy in that. You should have joy in the fact that you're going to do something and you're going to do it right. When you build trust with somebody, whether it's financial or relational, occupational, it really brings about a synergy and an energy to that you really need to succeed. You want to be consistently reliable. So for example, in my company, Wave Capital, invest with DanCan.com, there's a plug. I have 22 investors, correct? I send their checks the same day every month. Every month, I send them a fun meme with some kind of comment that's funny and witty that, hey, your check has been mailed, or hey, your interest payment has been sent via online. The reason why I do that is I don't want to be reactive as an investor. I want to be proactive. I want to be initiating. And when I do that, it communicates a lot about myself, my team, my business, the product that we're producing. I want them to get in a rhythm of hearing from me at least once a month. Now, my investors hear from me anywhere from 2 to 4, sometimes 5 times a month, because I'm always telling a story, and stories build trust. And so back to that verse, that principle of, hey, desire a good name because that will bring riches, silver and gold. Now, you shouldn't desire a good name for silver and gold, but it is a byproduct of being reliable and being trustworthy. The second thing is this, is you want to communicate transparency. If you want to make money in your sleep, you have to bring some kind of value to the investor. And you need to be able to communicate that with transparency. You need to be able to communicate that with crystal clear clarity. We've all heard of the term or the phrase or the principle 10,000 hours. If you want to be a master as somebody, you have to invest in yourself at least 10,000 hours. You want to invest in your message. You want to invest in whatever you are that you're trying to build a profit on. You got to know that product inside and out, and you have to be a master at it. Repetition is such a powerful teacher. In my insurance agency, the DanCan agency, my oldest son just most recently started working for us, and he's just been a complete joy to have in the office. I love having him here. He shares my last name. Of course, I'm going to say that. But it was interesting. I heard him answering the phone, and he did a good job. And I thought, man, I feel like there's just so much more we could do here in regards to storytelling, in regards to slowing down the customer, building rapport. So I pulled him into my office. I said, hey, listen, I want to try something different when you answer the phone. After you do our, hey, thank you for calling to DanCan Insurance award-winning agency. How can I help you? The person says, I'd like an auto quote. I said, okay, great. Isaiah, what I want you to then say is this. Hey, before we get started, do you mind if I tell you a little bit about myself? Most Americans are going to say yes. And then I trained, coached, mentored Isaiah to say, hey, my name is Isaiah Cantillana. My dad is Dan Cantillana. He owns the insurance agency. We have been in the financial sector and the insurance sector for over 20 years. I'm really excited to do this auto quote for you. A simple change to the intro has radically increased his joy of working. And he's also been able to communicate to the customer some things through story, through that short little intro change. He has clearly communicated that we're not new. We're 2 decades into this thing. He's communicated a generational business. I love my dad. I want to be with my dad. I'm working in the business. He's a joy-filled kid, a young man now. And so he's doing all these wonderful things in that little intro to build consistency. Hey, in America, we love generational businesses. He also is communicating, I want to help you. I like it, the fact that I get to do this auto quote for you. And since then, his closure has improved, which is wonderful. And the customer experience has improved. So if you want to make money in your sleep, you want to be able to be consistent. You want to be reliable. You want to be able to tell a story. If you don't have 10,000 hours in something, I'd encourage you to get started. Pick whatever that is. I know a lot. I talk about real estate, and we primarily deal with single family homes. I own commercial, I've owned multifamily, but we stick to our bread and butter, which for the most part is single family residencies, because I know it. I've spent 10,000 hours looking at it. I really enjoy it. The third thing is you want to build value. You want to be competent in what you're going to talk about, what you're going to pitch, if you will, or present to the person that wants to invest with you. I truly believe that if you want to be a private money capital raiser, raising capital, private money, that's a fantastic way to make money in your sleep. You get to leverage real estate, you buy at a discount, there's a margin of safety there. There's just a lot of beautiful things that happen. Now, how do you show somebody that you're competent? How do you show someone that you know what you're talking about? You have a clear message. You have a clear story. You typically want them to be able to repeat 1 to 3 things that are the primary reason why they want to invest with you. And you have to have a vehicle. And I don't mean a car, a vehicle for someone to invest in, whether that's they're buying a business, they're buying real estate. I know nothing about crypto, but if you're amazing at that, you can show that story. You can tell those 3 competent things, and the investor may indeed want to invest with you. So these are the 3 things in regards to how to make money in your sleep. Start working on those. Something that I like to say a lot around my office and my family's character counts. Character counts. And character helps you tremendously if you have good character. Now, I know right now you're probably thinking, man, Dan, I know a lot of people that have bad character that are doing quite well. Sure, there's always outliers. But for the most part, if we're building our lives on principle, you want to have character that counts. You want to build a name that's trustworthy. You want to build trust. You build trust by earning it, and you earn it by doing what you say you're going to do and doing what you say you're going to do. Now, after this word from our sponsor, I'm going to tell a story about one of the best opportunities I had to build trust, and I didn't even know it.
Tired of missing real estate deals because you were waiting for the bank to approve your funding? At Wave Capital Investing, we get you funded fast with flexible terms and a streamlined process. No red tape, no stress. Apply today at wavecapitallending.com and ride the wave to your next successful real estate investment.
Excellent. Thank you for coming back. So, how do you build trust? How do you become someone that has a good name? I would really encourage you, if you want to make money in your sleep, to start volunteering. What does that have to do about making money? I can tell you from personal experience that when I started freely giving my time, my energy, my talent, and my money away, it was really amazing as I watched, I believe, the Lord work. Believe me, it's not a spiritual slot machine. It's not something where if you go and volunteer, you're going to get all these deals. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you have an opportunity to co-labor with somebody with a mission, specifically like volunteering, so that could be church, that could be the Rotary, that could be being a coach, that could be going and having, here in Washington State where I live, you can sign up to clean a road and they'll put your organization's name up there as a free advertising. Something that was hilarious is back in the day in Tacoma, I volunteered for a couple of years as a rugby coach for the University of Puget Sound. Now, I don't know much about rugby, but they have a reputation for playing hard and partying hard. And I wanted to change that look, if you will. And so what I did is I basically told the boys, and I loved them. I said, hey, listen, guys, we're going to adopt the street. We're going to go out and we're going to clean this thing. And you have to clean it, I think, 2 or 3 times a year. And they all rolled their eyes and all this other great stuff. but I made them do it. And I always did it Saturday morning at 7:30, really early, because I knew that they were out Friday night. And we would go out and we'd clean this street. And it was amazing. We'd get together. They laughed about it. We joked about it. They're hungover. We're picking up, I don't drink, but they drink. And so we picked up all this trash. And then people in the community would be like, hey, you're the rugby coach at University of Puget Sound, right? And I said, yeah. And they're like, hey, I saw you guys and you were out there cleaning the streets. That's just so great that you got these young men out there serving. Now, nothing ever came of that from a monetary standpoint. However, it helped build the name of the organization for the club. And when I first started, it was a volunteer coaching gig. After the second year, the university approached me and they're like, hey, we see what you're doing in the community. We see what you're doing with these young men. People are coming to the university and they're actually wanting to play rugby and come to school here. So what's that? That's value. I'm building value for the school. And then they started paying me. And it's crazy. I didn't start the whole pick trash up on the side of the road thinking I would get a check. That wasn't it at all. I actually just wanted to see these guys do something for other people, which was great. But so what I'm trying to communicate is if you want to build a name that has valor, that has gravitas, that has weight, I would really encourage you to start volunteering. You can volunteer at a food bank. You can volunteer at a pet shelter. You can volunteer at your religious organization. You can volunteer for boys and girls, YMCA. And there's so many different places for you to volunteer. When you give that away, it's unbelievable. Good things come your way. And it builds a reputation for you to give away to others. When we come back after a word from this sponsor, I'm going to tie it all together in our first step on how to make money in our sleep.
Hate doing your books? Let Busy Bee handle the buzz. Based in Spokane, we simplify your numbers so you can focus on growing your biz. Call us today at 541-733-5578 and take bookkeeping off your to-do list forever.
All right, welcome back. So I started this with, do you want to make money in your sleep? The best way to make money in your sleep is to find an investment vehicle that you can introduce to an investor. I know that sounds very simple, but it is. It's simple, but it's hard. And what I mean by it's hard is you have to become a master of whatever you're asking that investor to invest in. So for example, I've been on this real estate road for over 15 years. I've made money and I've lost money personally, but my investors have always been paid. 100% of my investors have gotten their capital back and have been paid their interest 100% of the time for over 15 years. Now, I had to sell some things. I had to do some things. I had to take a loss, but you better believe I was going to be the one to take the loss, not my investors, because of that. Like I said, that Proverbs 22:1 verse is a good name is desirable. In order to create a good name, you have to maintain it, which means you have to do the good things and the hard things. And sometimes the hard things looks like you have to take a loss to protect your investor. When you have a consistent message, when you are transparent, and when you are efficient and proficient at an investment, the money will come. What's great about private lending is you can bring opportunities to people that have a lot of capital, but they might not have a lot of time. And that's what I actually really enjoy about what I do at Wave Capital is I get to initiate with people that I know are high income earners, high net worth individuals. They love real estate. They love stories, but they just don't have a lot of time. And so I can take their capital, I can make them more capital, and I can save them time. That's one of the things I love about our Busy Bee bookkeeping business is we help business owners spend more time working on their business than doing their books. And on average, we give our customers anywhere from 6 to 15 hours back a month. That's a lot of hours where they're not worrying about payroll. They're not worrying about their quarterlies. They're not worrying about their books. And that's something that we bring to value. And I really enjoy that. And it's fun to see the testimonials and Google reviews come in on that. But for you, I know that you know what's coming next. The law of 72. What do you need to do after you've heard this podcast? What do you need to write down right now? What do you need to start becoming a master in? Is it cryptocurrency? Is it real estate? Is it mobile home parks? Is it multifamily? Is it commercial? Is it commercial investment? Is it note investment? Is it owner financing? Is it flipping automobiles? Is it starting a motorcycle shop? There's so many opportunities for you to make money if you have a desirable name. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And remember, Dan Can listeners, love well and do good.